Good evening, welcome. We are live on Facebook and hope you are taking a second to hop on and join us. We'll see who might be able to join our college talks tonight. As you do, please give us a thumbs up or a like. We'd love to know you're here. Great. We have a few folks on. Glad to have you. Welcome. Hope everyone had a safe and wonderful July 4th weekend. We are back again as we continue our College Talk series. And we have a unique perspective tonight as we meet with Ms. Deborah Jones with our business department. She's the dean of one of our areas. And we're going to talk about how COVID is changing the way we work. There's a lot you might see in the news about how this pandemic has changed business mindset. It's changed how individuals conduct business remotely or whatever the new protocols might be for their company. And we're excited to hear a little bit about how our college is adapting in our instruction to those changes. And we'll also hear from Ms. Sandra Aiken with the City of Orangeburg and Human Resources on how the city and how protocols in that industry are changing with the changes in our current environment with the pandemic. A little bit about our college. Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College prides itself on being a facility that is accessible, flexible, and affordable. We strive every day to provide relevant training and education in a flexible environment that promotes success and self-reliance for students and fosters economic development for the region. We have a lot of ways we achieve this goal. Our team works with our students to create a flexible environment. Right now, and looking into fall, there are a lot of options for hybrid classes. There are a lot of options for classes that might do lecture virtually and your lab hours in the classroom so that you have those hands-on hours. There's a lot of classes that are given flexibility to accommodate for you needing to care for children or family members or odd work hours, whatever that might be. We have a solution to help you go from college to career in a schedule that fits your needs. So we're here to make that a possibility. Our college is affordable. Many of our students have the opportunity to go to school free or almost free. There are a lot of means of assistance through federal grants, also through foundation scholarships that can make achieving your degree possible. And that all, the culmination of the two is hopefully going to make you successful. We have great placement rates for our programs. We have folks who are dedicated to see our students succeed, and you're going to meet a few of those individuals tonight, and we're thrilled you are here to join us for this series. A few of our areas that are the largest studies for our college, or our main studies for our college, of course, nursing and health science. We are redefining who is the essential worker. Our nursing and health science individuals certainly are, especially as we've seen during this pandemic. Our programs are consistently ranked among the best in South Carolina. Our placement rates, our testing pass rates are top notch. We are having great outcomes in these programs. A workforce that's aging that is in need of replenishment is our engineering, technology, and advanced manufacturing areas. We are so fortunate to be situated in a part of the state with access to main arteries for lots of big companies. There are lots in our area, there are lots in our surrounding area that hire our graduates because our graduates are well-trained and knowledgeable for the jobs and the roles they need filled. Business administration, teacher education, computer technology, and public service. When I talk about the essential worker changing, these folks are included. There's a lot of companies, there are a lot of schools, there are a lot of public service industries who could not have functioned during this time without the right individuals in these roles. And we have folks in place to train you and prepare you for these jobs. We also have a great transfer program, and you have the opportunity to receive your associate in arts or your associate in science degree. We have wonderful partnerships with many four-year universities. If that is your end goal, that you would like to receive your bachelor's degree after spending some time with us, we have a wonderful team who is here to assist you in making that transition and being as successful as you can during that process. Great wages are available in our area. Our economy is moving and growing, even in times of uncertainty. There are businesses still booming. So we are fortunate that our graduates are placed in jobs that are in high need and with high wages, and we're proud of the success of our individuals. Ms. Deborah, we'd love to hear a little bit about how COVID is changing the way we work. We're glad to have you on tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking me to do this session. I really did want to do this session because, inadvertently, this pandemic has actually changed the way that companies are doing business. As Reagan said, I'm the dean, and part of my area is business and also computer technology, education, and public service. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about business and computer technology and how that fits into the workplace and how that has enabled people to be able to work remotely and work flexibly from home. So we'll start with, the way it was years ago, the traditional workplace. And this is the workplace that a lot of people are familiar with. On the right, you see a picture. Everyone was in a room, or they were in individual offices, or they were in cubicles, and everyone came to work at 8 a.m. or 8:30 in the morning. They left at 5 o'clock. They did this 5 days a week. And it was a pretty traditional workplace. One of the reasons why it was that way was because employers basically saw employees as easily distracted. So they were reluctant to allow employees to work from home. So employees working from home was not very commonplace years ago. They also were reluctant to allow employees to work from home because they felt like they couldn't supervise them properly. So they thought that employees needed to have close supervision. They wanted employees available, whenever they needed to talk with them. And so, so they were reluctant to allow employees to work remotely for that reason. So remote work was rare at that time. Usually it was only done in special circumstances. You had to have special accommodations, and there weren't that many job options. In the last 10 years, though, what has happened is technology has evolved and gotten cheaper. And I know you have seen this as well. I mean, I think, from the year, let's start the early 2000s up until this point in time, look at how fast technology has evolved. So there have been tremendous advances in video conferencing technology. I mean, I can remember in the early 2000s, to try to do a video conference like we're doing now was very expensive. You needed special equipment to do it. You needed sometimes special phone lines. They were called lease lines, and companies paid for these lines by the mile. So that was expensive. So, just doing the video conferencing was a very expensive proposition. But what's happened, though, since then is that we have gotten, the internet has become more widely available. It is also, the speeds on the internet have gotten much faster. We have faster and cheaper computers. We also have advances in artificial intelligence that has come along. And then also the telecommunication applications that have replaced the traditional telephone. So, probably now you'll seldom see a desk phone, for instance. Sometimes, companies do have desk phones, but in the home, you're not going to see very many desk phones. Most of us have a smartphone, and that smartphone is just a small computer. It does more than do a phone call. Then you have things like Google Voice, Vonage, there's some others out there, and then you can also do call forwarding from your office, so that now when I'm working, and I'm currently working from home, and I have been since mid-March, teaching classes from home, all of my calls can go to my home office, to my to school office, but then they are forwarded automatically to me here, and I pick those calls up, and it's just like I'm sitting in my office. And then also, so, advancement in technology has created more telework opportunities. So even in the last 10 years, even without COVID-19, more people were working remotely. This is sort of an evolution, and this has been happening over the last 10 years or so. And what happened, though, with that evolution is employers realized that the work was still getting done. So the current state now has been that the remote work has become a standard practice for many companies. Remote work is not always done at home. Some people are on the road, they even travel the world, and they can still work remotely. But still, some employers were still reluctant to allow employees to work remotely for the very reasons that I talked about in the beginning. It's much harder to supervise them and make sure that the work gets done. So, I came across a few articles, and this whole presentation I did actually came about is the result of getting some articles online, or getting some articles through my email, where companies are talking about how remote workers are now becoming more and more commonplace. So Fast Company, which is a company that produces some business magazines, have predicted that remote workers will do more work on mobile devices. And we see that happening more and more now. People are using their cell phones because that cell phone is basically a mini computer. They also predict that virtual conferencing will be the preferred mode, even in virtual reality mode. So there's more advances in software. And then I talked about earlier about artificial intelligence. Well, AI has evolved to the point where it can actually manage, or may manage, a remote staff. And we see AI now a lot in some of the things even that we do at the school. We do online test proctoring, which uses artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has evolved to the point where it's extremely sophisticated and can do a lot of things that humans can do. Also, more employees are going to expect remote work opportunities. They want the flexibility. They have careers and family. That's not always doable in a traditional work environment. So more employees are going to expect remote work opportunities because companies are providing those now. So how has COVID-19 changed this? Well, it's probably changed this forever. Those companies that were sitting on the fence concerning remote work had to get their act together quickly. So in a very short period of time, they had to figure out quickly how to get the work done because their employees had to leave the office areas. That's happened here at OC Tech. When we went online or went remote in March due to the pandemic, a lot of our workers went home and they went to work there. And it had to be done very quickly, so that companies had to figure it out. So this whole COVID-19 pandemic has actually pushed companies to do things that probably they would have eventually done, but now they're having to do it now. Also, the focus has become on productivity, not clock hours. So there's a certain amount of work that has to get done. And so the focus is not on whether or not the employee is sitting in front of the computer at certain times of the day, but are they getting the work done? And people have gotten used to this new normal. So there was a Gallup poll out there that showed that 54% of people would leave their current job for a remote work opportunity. So this tells employers that if they want to attract some of the best employees, they may need to consider remote work opportunities in order to be able to attract people, because a lot of people are looking for that type of flexibility, and they're looking for the ability to be able to work at home because they want to have a career. I mean, they want to have a family, but they also may have other things going on, like caring for an elderly parent. They may just like the idea of being able to travel and still be able to work. So because those opportunities are now becoming more widespread, employees will start to expect those types of opportunities. Also, companies found out pretty quickly that they could save money on things like office space and all the stuff that goes with that, like utilities and maintenance and those kinds of expenses. Companies found out pretty quickly that they could save a lot of money by allowing their workers to be able to work remotely. So currently right now at OC Tech, we have some buildings that have very few people working in them, or in some cases, no people working in them. So there's no need to keep the air conditioning running and do a lot of the maintenance that has to be done on those buildings. Classrooms that are not being used right now, we don't have to keep the air conditioning running and keep the maintenance and cleaning and all that goes on there. So companies have found out pretty quickly that they can save a lot of money by allowing their workers to work remotely. So what kind of jobs can be done remotely? Well, not frontline type jobs. So if you want a job where you want hands-on with a customer or hands-on with a product or hands-on with a client, these are not the types of jobs that can be done remotely. The types of jobs that can be done remotely are the support type jobs, the back office jobs, those office jobs. Those are the types of jobs that can be done remotely. And there are just too many of them to list. I mean, you can go out there and look online and find, a lot of this information out there online. But the one thing about these types of jobs is many of them require some type of a business degree or a computer science degree. So I have a grandson who goes to George Mason up in Virginia. This summer, he's home working a summer job. He's working as a computer engineer and he's working at home. So that type of job, maybe last year, they would have asked him to come into an office. Well, because of the pandemic, he's working at home, and they don't need an office to house him. He can work from home. So at OC Tech, in our business and computer technology areas, in the business area, we have a business administration degree, which has two areas of concentration. There's enterprise management, and we get into a lot of supply chain management there. And then we also have an accounting concentration. We also have an administrative office technology degree. So this is a lot of your office support types of courses that you would take there. In computer technology, we have a programming, and we also have network security and information assurance. This is a network degree. You'll learn networking. In our associate degree, I would emphasize that to get a lot of these jobs in business, you may want to consider going on to a bachelor's degree. So we consider our business administration degree, it can be a standalone degree, and you can get jobs with an associate degree here in business administration. But to get some of the other types of jobs, like the management jobs, the planning, some of those higher level jobs, you would want to go on and get a bachelor's degree. So we have structured our program so that it makes it easy to transition to another school if you want to do a bachelor's degree. So I really consider our business administration degree to be a beginning of something much better. So we have articulation agreements with schools. We have an agreement with the Citadel. We have an agreement with Coastal Carolina. We have agreements with Claflin and South Carolina State. So for a lot of these higher level business office types of jobs, you would want to consider doing a business administration degree at OC Tech so you can save some money there, but then transfer. And we've made it as easy as we can to transfer your credits to a four-year school so that you can get a degree there. You can even go to USC in Columbia if you want to, any part of the USC system. We've just tried to make it as easy as we can. Also, our classes are offered day, night, and online. So in the business program, you can get that business degree or the associate degree in business totally online if you want to. Or you can come to day classes, or you can come to night classes if you want to. So both of our business degrees are totally online. In the computer technology area, about half of the degree can be done online. So so there, it's just really easy. We've tried to make it as easy as we can to get you into an associate degree and a graduate of an associate degree, but also to be able to move on to a four-year school if that's what you want to do. So here's my contact information if you want to know any more about what we do. Because there's a lot of information that we can give you on opportunities at OC Tech. You can just give me a call. There's my phone number. You can send me an email, and I'll be happy to talk with you some more about what we do at OC Tech.
Thank you so much, Ms. Deborah. We certainly have quickly adopted some great ways for students to learn very similarly to a remote working environment. with the pandemic very quickly. The hybrid options included. Would you tell us a little bit about the hybrid option? I touched on it a tiny bit earlier, but that is offered for some of the business classes. I know it's offered for our education department, as we heard last week from Ms. Babs Hughes. And it's a great option for the working individual or the individual who has other big items in their life they need to handle.
Yeah, with the hybrid option is in the case of the business program, we are one half in the classroom and one half online. So the student would meet one day. Typically, in a traditional class, a student would come to class 2 days a week. It would be either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. With the hybrid option, they will come one day, and then there will be an optional day they can come if they want to. If they need help with a project or need help with an assignment, they could come in that optional day. But that optional day it's just optional. But they would have some sort of online assignment to make up for that time that they're not in class. In the fall, our plans are to be in the classroom teaching classes. Of course, we will be socially distanced, and we'll, be following all the CDC guidelines. But we also plan to stream our classes over the internet. So if it's a situation where you can't come to campus or you don't want to come to campus, we could actually provide some sort of live streaming. We have the technology to do that, and those are our plans at this point, is to do it that way. We have tried our best to be as flexible as we can be. I got my entire education, all the way from my associate degree all the way through my master's, while I was working full time. And I saw, and whenever I was going through that process, things were not nearly as easy as they are now. I went through, the traditional classroom where you met, 2 days a week. And it took a lot of night classes because I worked during the day. So seeing how much easier and how much better it would have been for me to do that, I have tried to build as much flexibility into our program as we can, just knowing that I have lived what a lot of people have lived who are trying to go back to school while they're working and have a family.
Thank you. Wonderful. Ms. Tracy Dibble is also on our call. Tracy is the Director of Advising and Admissions. And when we've talked a lot about the flexible part of our goals to make you successful. And let's talk a little bit about the affordable and how you can get started. Ms. Tracy, would you let us know their first steps if they'd like to be part of our business program or any of our public service areas, how they can begin?
Thanks, Reagan. I appreciate that. Wow, we just heard some great information from Ms. Jones in reference to all the public service programs that we do offer, and flexibility. I promise you, you do get some flexibility out there for them. So I want to talk a little bit about flexibility when it comes to how to start. What do you do? All our information is out there online at our website at octech.edu. You can apply online. You can even get accepted. We'll get contact with you through a letter and an email about your acceptance. Remember, we're going to need your transcript if you've attended other colleges, and we're going to need your test scores. We're actually giving the placement test here on campus and online. So you can't get much more flexible than that. So you have to have a Zoom account in order to take the test online. And again, we're giving it here Monday through Thursday, 8:30 till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, taking our placement test. So that's what you'll need to do to get started so that you can hopefully get accepted into these wonderful programs that Ms. Jones talked about earlier. Once you get accepted to the college, we're here to help you get your first time advisement with us. We're doing Zoom meetings, telephone calls, as well as emails in reference to getting you registered for your classes. You actually register yourself, but we'll help you get advised. Once we do the first semester advising with you, then we'll get you set up with a faculty advisor in your discipline who will then carry the weight of helping you get advised and register from here on out. So as you can see, we're trying to work flexibility and remotely as well. We're here to help. We want to get you started so that you can become an OC Tech student and continue your educational endeavors so that you can even go off to one of these other schools, such as a four-year college, to continue your education. We wish you the best of luck, and if you have any questions about anything, you can always email us at askme@octech.edu, We've got folks in records, financial aid, admissions, and advising that can help you with your questions. So please give us an email, or you can give us a call in admissions at 803-535-1234. And I think Ms. Reagan's going to give you all this information so you can have for future reference. Wish you the best of luck, and please consider OC Tech as an option to continue your educational endeavors. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Ms. Tracy. As you might have heard from Ms. Tracy, a lot of her information, we try to make it as accessible as it can be through our website, octech.edu, as she mentioned. You'll find everything here from our advising pages, information about our programs. You'll find an entire page on our business program. You'll also find information for financial aid. This week, actually, too, we're having a workshop. So if you know, financial aid does require, and we encourage each student to fill out a FAFSA. That helps make you eligible for any financial aid that might be available to you to help make college so very affordable. We have workshops going on weekly. If you are unsure of how the FAFSA process works, we're here to help. We invite you to add us on Facebook. If you're here tonight, you may have already done so, but please share with your friends, because if they have any interest in taking their life from college to career, we have quite a few resources through Facebook and also through our website that are part of how we're here to help. We are working by appointment. We are open. We are working virtually, as Ms. Deborah mentioned, and as you might see from Ms. Tracy and I, all three of us are at home tonight joining you through the computer, but our team is here and available to help. If you have any questions about a program, if you have interest in applying for a program, if you just want to know more information, send us a message. We invite you to make an appointment to come visit us. We have a lot of protocols on campus to follow the safety guidelines recommended by the CDC, and we are taking protocols as we work safely in the office. But we are accessible remotely and virtually, and we are here to make your college to career possible.
Sandra Aiken is the Human Resources Director for Orangeburg County. And Sandra actually has an associate degree from OC Tech. She graduated with an associate's degree in administrative office technology, and then she went on and furthered her education all the way through getting her master's degree. And Sandra also teaches for us as well. So Sandra, before going to Orangeburg County, she worked at OC Tech in human resources, and was able to get a great job at Orangeburg County as their human resources director. And but she did it. She did not follow the traditional path. Both of us, neither one of us followed the traditional path through education. We started out, with an associate degree. I have an associate degree at Piedmont Tech in Greenwood, and then had families, went back to school, and just kept going, until we got to where we are now. So I think Sandra is a really good example of what you can do with an associate degree from a technical college in South Carolina.
We are thrilled to have Ms. Sandra Aiken on our call. She's the Director of Human Resources for Orangeburg County. Ms. Sandra, would you tell us a little bit about your path to your current career?
Well, I actually started working for a company in Orangeburg back in, I think it was 1987. And so the HR director used to preach a lot about going back to school, getting your education. Well, I didn't have any degrees at that time, so I started going back to school. I started out to OC Tech in June of 1989. Really did not know what I wanted to do. So as I started taking certain courses, then I noticed that I wanted to go into business, but my degree that I graduated in at OC Tech was Office Systems Technology. So I received my associates in that. Once I graduated from OC Tech, I got promoted. I was actually working on the production line at Hughes Aircraft Company. And then once I got my degree, they promoted me into the purchasing department. So I actually worked in purchasing for about roughly about 4 years. And then from purchasing, then I started applying for other positions. And so I landed assistant job, HR assistant job at the same company. And so from there, then I got promoted through the ranks all the way to HR leader. Once the company closed from that standpoint, then I took on other jobs. And of course, my background was in the private sector in manufacturing. So as I progressed through the ranks in reference to my HR career, I decided that this was where I wanted to be. Of course, it took me a lot to try to deal with the employees. Of course, this type of job, you have to have a lot of patience. Of course, they didn't teach us that in school about having patience dealing with, you know, different personalities and stuff. So then at that time, I just had to make up my mind, okay, is this where I want to be? Whether I want to stay in HR or whether I want to go back to purchasing or somewhere else. When I graduated with my associate's degree, I decided to further my education, getting my bachelor's degree. And so I got that in organizational management. And then from that standpoint, then I got my master's degree. And as I was getting all of those degrees, I was actually still in manufacturing. So it went from manufacturing, going from manufacturing to a real estate management and development company. Then I got promoted to the director of human resources there. Of course, the company started doing some downsizing and everything. And so then I landed back to my school alma mater, OC Tech, as the benefits manager. Of course, I worked to OC Tech for roughly about close to 4 years as a benefits manager. And then, of course, I do adjunct teaching as well, and I'm still doing that. Then from that standpoint, then I received an offer to Orangeburg County, and that's where I'm at now, at Orangeburg County as the Director of Human Resources. So that's how I end up coming through the ranks. I will tell you, though, that it was not easy. During all those times that I was growing up through my ranks, I was working at full-time jobs and also working part-time jobs, which actually the working hours as a part-time employee, I was working full-time hours. So I was actually working 2 jobs, going to school and trying to help take care of my girls, and I have 3 daughters. So I'm glad that I'm at Orangeburg County. Not that I did not dislike anything at OC Tech. It's just that the opportunity presented itself. And so that's where I landed at. In working for Orangeburg County, of course, you know, we do have many challenges that we deal with. We do have some really good people that we work with. During the COVID season that back started during March of this year, it was a challenge. I usually work from the office and sometimes I work from home. So it's kind of like a dual thing that I do. Now the changes in reference to working out of your home is that you don't get to see the people every day that you once saw. Some of the changes that has occurred in reference to my situation, in reference to the HR department, of course, our department is being renovated. So we are actually in different locations. So I'm dealing with my staff members in different locations. I also deal with my staff members while I'm working home from my phone and also through my computer. So just giving you an example of something in reference to how COVID has changed things, because we're trying to do social distancing. When I used to have my HR generalist receive the personnel action forms and provide them to me, I now have them coming directly straight into me, into an email address account that I had IT to set up. And so I receive those documents through that email. And once I receive those documents, then I review those documents, make sure that everything is right on those documents like they're supposed to be. And then I electronically send those to the deputy and the county administrator for their signatures. Then once that happens, then they electronically send them back to me, and then I electronically forward it on to my staff. I believe that's all, unless you guys got questions for me.
I have a question, Sandra. How much of your staff is working remotely or has been working remotely at least part of the time since the middle of March?
I would say only myself and my benefits administrator, because both of us are on our salary employees. I have 2 other employees, but they're hourly. I really did not per se have them working from home because, you know, we got to look at the fact that because they are hourly, they could actually possibly be working from home and we not know it. But because if they would work from home, we would still have to pay them. So I would say just myself and the benefits administrator, what we did was took on the role of the HR generalist. She shared some of the responsibilities of that position as well as myself. But now we are kind of back in the office, so that kind of helps things out a little bit. I do kind of foresee us maybe possibly going out again because of the coronavirus. Numbers are increasing. And so what I've done to try to be a little proactive is I've already spoken with the IT director to ensure that we can have an available laptop, at least for one of my hourly folks, which is the HR generalist, so he will be able to perform some work from home this time around.
What about across Orangeburg, the whole Orangeburg County itself, you know, the other departments in those areas? How many would you say are probably working remotely?
I would say, let's see, I'm going to say probably 50%.
About 50%.
Yeah, I would say about 50%. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a sister who works at Beckman Mental Health in Greenwood, and she works. I think she's technically she's a grants administrator. She does a lot with their grants. And she's been working remotely since the middle of March.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, in these types of jobs, just because of the danger of the virus, and in the beginning, there was a lot we didn't know about the virus. You know, it was just, if you could work from remotely from home, that's what you did.
Right.
And in the previous segment, I talked a little bit about how companies basically were forced into this, and now that they're into it, they're saying, hey, you know, this might not be such a bad thing, because if people can work remotely, we don't have to maintain office space for them, and we don't have to, you know, do a lot of those things. And then, you know, more and more people want that type of flexibility too.
That's correct. Now, we do have some employees that enjoy working from home. They enjoy that flexibility, but then on the other side of that, we also have employees that really want to be in the office because they miss that face-to-face interaction.
Yeah, we're seeing that here as well. And in some cases, some people may have too many distractions at home, so they may prefer. And then you have a combination. You know, you have the person who might like to work remotely 2 or 3 days a week, but then they want to be in the office, you know, a couple of days a week. So it's because it's easier to do some things at the office than it is remotely.
It is. And what I found out too, just personally, working from home, it appears that I am doing much more work from home than I am in the office.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing as well. You know, they said something about we have a return to work plan, and I said, oh no, don't go there. We've been working all along. There's no return. You can call it return to campus, but you're not going to call it return to work.
That's exactly right.
We never stopped working.
No, we don't. We sure don't. And honestly, I'm surprised that my phone hadn't rang. Actually, earlier when I was trying to get on Zoom, my phone rang, and it was actually our director of risk services. And of course, we have roughly about 680 employees, so that's close to about 700 employees. And I tell you, we have it appears that our responsibilities have increased since this COVID, because we have a lot of phone calls. And just to give an example, of course, you have employees that are not social distancing. They're continuing to be around other folks, whether it's family members or friends. No matter what they're doing, I'm just not trying to pinpoint anything, but if they're not following instructions of the CDC guideline in South Carolina DHEC, they're coming in, we have to get them quarantined, we have to send them home for, I think it's about 14 days so they can quarantine. So when that happens, then we got to send them home. And of course, with the employee rights, under the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, then we utilize that to provide them up to 80 hours of paid time so that they can get paid. Then of course, you know, after those 14 days are up, and if they're not back to work, then they have to utilize their own leave time. But then we have some that has already been quarantined, and then they turn around and do something else or be around somebody, then they got to go back out again and quarantine. Okay, and then when they have to go back out in quarantine, then we don't give them that additional 80 hours anymore, you know, to be paid. So then they get upset, you know, about that. And then you have to constantly find yourself repeating yourself, explaining things to them of why, you know, what the CDC guidelines say and what they should and should not do. It's been a, let's see how I want to say, a roller coaster ride for us in reference to dealing with that. So that's just, it's just one of those things. You think that because these people are not following instructions and doing what they're supposed to do, but we got the legislature saying, okay, we got to pay them, you know, up to so many hours. So, okay, you got to follow the rules.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sandra. I'm glad that you were able to make it.
Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you offer a great perspective on what you can do with an OC Tech degree, and you know what it's like to be a remote worker. Great perspective. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Anybody can do this. Anybody can, and it is not, you know, as I said, it's much easier now to do it than it was when we did it. I mean, many nights, all I did was drive back and forth to Greenville whenever I was doing my master's at Clemson. So, you know, it's much easier to do that now. So I would say that think about, you know, think about where you want to go and where you want to be 5 years from now, not where you are now. You know, and just call us and let us talk with you about how we can get you there, you know, over the next 2 to 5 years, because time's going to pass anyway. You may as well have something to show for it.
And I'd love to add too, if you're a student who might be a recent high school graduate and you had plans to attend a four-year university starting in the fall, and you're just unsure if that's the right step for you next with things that are happening now, we're here to help you fill that gap. Our advisors are skilled and prepared. Our instructors are skilled and prepared to have the classes in line that you need so that that process still remains seamless for when you are ready to continue with your four-year university you may be taking a step back from right now. We're here to make that transition possible and give you a little bit of security about doing something that might be different from what you had thought it would be in January or February. Our team is ready to help you make that transition. We're so glad you could join us tonight. Thank you so much. As we continue our College Talk series, we've had a great group of panelists. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page or our website. All of our videos are saved there if you want to reference any later or learn more about any of our programs. Ms. Deborah, it's been wonderful having you on tonight. Thank you so much for all the information you shared with us about the changing workforce. It certainly is something we're going to see more of going forward.
Yes, thank you very much for asking me to do this. I was happy to do it.
Thank you so much. I'll post the information below of all of our resources. We are truly here to take you from college to career, and we are here to help. Hope everyone has a great evening. Thanks so much for joining us again.
Bye-bye.